members. Well, Joanna Ewart-James is Executive Director for Freedom Unity and joins me now live in the studio. Joanna, good to have you with us. So we know that this is every year the annual call for better rights and conditions for workers. You campaign against what your group calls modern slavery. What does that mean?
So modern slavery is the most extreme form of exploitation of workers. It comes in different ways, such as forced labour and debt bondage, but it's essentially when the person has no ability to leave the form of exploitation they're in and somebody's benefiting from the labour or the service that they're giving.
So we've seen this highlighted, for example, in countries like Qatar in the build-up to the World Cup. A lot of criticism over how migrant workers in some countries seem to have absolutely no control over their working conditions. These governments are saying that they are improving the conditions and that they're changing the law. Is that what is happening in your experience?
Well, sometimes it's not actually the country or the region where the worker is, but the particular situation that they're in. So, for example, immigration rules are sometimes used against workers and used to coerce them and exploit them. And it depends, of course, on how the immigration rules are set and their vulnerability. Or perhaps it's isolation. Now, some workers, for example, are in private homes, so they may not have access to the kind of support systems that many other workers have. And especially if they're living as well as working in those spaces, it makes them much more vulnerable. So these are things that can sometimes transcend borders. And we know at Freedom United there are cases that we're campaigning on for change.
And you're campaigning, in fact, you're requesting big companies, for example, like Nintendo and Wendy's, to make changes. Is the onus on companies or is it on governments?
Well, I think the great thing about International Labour Day is it reminds us of the achievement over history for what, for some of us, has been a great benefit and improvement in our working conditions. But it also shows us the power and the importance of organising and worker empowerment. And society at large needs to play a part in supporting those movements in countries and regions and in situations where workers don't have that power. And that's where Freedom United comes in.
Joanna, good to speak with you. Thank you very much indeed for that. Joanna Ewart-James there.